Yo, what's going on, everybody? Today is what? Today's the it's Thursday the 14th of November. Yeah, my bad. It kind of slipped my mind for a bit. I'm having too much fun. But I was having a day in the park. I don't know if you can hear the birds chirping. It was a pretty cool day, and hit the gym, of course, as I always do. And then I was kind of just sitting there for a minute, and I was thinking about self-awareness, and I was having a chat with somebody in the gym, and they were asking me what I do, and I said, no, I'm a life coach. I deal with self-awareness and self-development, and they sort of, you can tell when somebody kind of understands what you're saying, but they think that they know what life coaching is. Like, they actually think like a life coach is like, it's like this person that runs around with like, a whistle and a cane and kind of tells you, you got to do these sit-ups right now and you got to do these push-ups and all that kind of stuff. I think there's definitely a life coach for that, right? For your health and fitness. But self-awareness and self-development is really different. And it's like certain terminologies that are expressed with people don't really know what they mean. Like, it's kind of like saying somebody's a narcissist, right? People actually think just a narcissist is a person that, I don't know, kind of just loves themselves too much and just has a lot of pride. And that's not really what it is. That's like the surface. That's like the bare minimum of what a narcissist is. So it's kind of similar to saying a life coach, a self-awareness and self-development life coach. People just think it's just like just having normal conversations. But self-awareness and self-development, I would say, is probably the highest searched life coaching industry. Like, they're different genres, but life coaching for self-awareness and self-development would probably be the most searched about topic. And people don't understand why. Self-awareness and self-development will never far exceed your happiness and your income. What do I mean by this? I mean, like, if you were a person who was really successful financially, like you had this, business that you started and, you started from the ground up and all that, and, you're making, 6 figures plus, that's great. But if you only worked hard enough to understand whatever industry that you're in, but you came from a dysfunctional family, or you got into a relationship with a dysfunctional person and you got married to that person, but you didn't actually know that you were in a relationship with the wrong person. And I've seen this happen so many times. They get a divorce and, this person loses everything. Like, you feel me? So self-awareness and self-development will never far exceed your income or your happiness. A lot of us don't actually know this, but everybody is born with an inner child trauma. I had to learn this because I went through that spiritual journey, as you know, for a period of at least 6 years. I'm still going through it, because once you have started the journey of awakening, it doesn't stop, right? Because what you have to understand, and for those of you that don't know, I am spiritual, not religious, but spiritual. So if you looked at the biblical, I suppose, way that we exist, we know that, Jesus, which is, I do believe that there is a Jesus that we all have to go through in order for us to be saved. But if you look at the fact that he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, right after that, that's when he met with the devil in the desert, and the devil, what did he do? He tempted, Jesus on, several situations. But the main one was, if you would bow down to this world, then you will have anything that you want. So what does that tell us? If he was offering Jesus himself an option to kneel, and he would give him anything he wants on this planet. So that would tell you that it was his to give. He was cast down from heaven, right? Then he came here and he had enough time to prepare things for you to never really know who you really are. So you look at most of these celebrities that are in places where they look lavish and everything is going great. As you know, when the mask starts to fall and the veil starts to be revealed, you notice that your Harvey Weinsteins, your Oprah, all of these people are people that are not who we thought they were. And then we hear about all these rituals and stuff that happen in Hollywood and so forth. So you get what I'm trying to say. There has to be some sort of sacrifice that most of these celebrities partake in order for them to be who they are. Where am I going with this? Self-awareness and self-development, right, then becomes an important thing, because if we were born into a world that the devil already owned, it means that he set it up in a way in order for us to be dysfunctional. He gave us, these schools. And if you know anything about these schools, if you went to school, then, you're always asking yourself, why the hell do we have to learn all these 13 to 15 subjects about shit we don't really care about? Right? Why do we have to go to all those classes, but we don't have a self-awareness and self-development class? Wouldn't you think that that would be the most important thing? Because then you wouldn't get yourself into situations that you don't need to be in, right? You'd know the peer pressure of the friends that you shouldn't be around, right? But you would know this from a really young age, so that would make you somebody who's highly sensitive and aware of what you need and what you don't need. So you got to ask yourself a question: why don't they ever teach us these things? I'm really bad with scripture in terms of the chapters and the verses, but there's also a section that says, if you were loved by the world, then you're not of me, because the world never loved me. Got to think about that, right? So if you were loved by the world, how come these celebrities are successful, right? But they always just in all these scandals. If you were loved by the world, when we talk about music idols or Australian idols or UK idols, American idols, whatever it is, right? If you listen to the actual word itself, idols, is people are worshiping these people for the presentation of them looking as if they were living a better life and the best life that they could ever live, right? But then when you then do the homework, you find out that Johnny Depp, his Amber Heard is shitting all over his bed all the time. So I can guarantee you he's not happy behind closed doors. You look at Will Smith. I don't even want to talk about Will Smith, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? So most millionaires and billionaires look a certain type of way, but there's a lot of sacrifices that most of them, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them have had to actually do and partake. And they lost their soul within that. So there's a lot of stuff that they had to sacrifice to devalue themselves in order for them to look a certain way in front of people. And what we, as people that are not really looking at the right channels and reading the right information and researching on who we are actually chasing this narrative in order for us to fit into this world, to be validated by what looks cool, because a celebrity who sold their soul partook in, and they're not even happy, they just have to look like they're happy. Now you look at that and you say, well, I want to be that. And if I could be that, then that would make me happy. But by the time that you get to that, if that, you find out that you didn't even want to be there in the first place. You sacrificed so much of yourself. And so that's why it also says in the Bible, for what good would it be if a man was to chase... For what good would it be if a man was to chase all the riches in the world but lose his soul? So again, we're trying to go outside of ourselves in order for us to meet up with the narrative of the world, right? But we already know that if we get validation from the world, it's because we've taken ourselves outside of ourselves to be what the world wants us to be, but not what we need to be from the inside. So we become empty. So this is why I feel, and I know for a fact, that self-development and self-awareness is really important, because with self-development, you get to look at your current circumstances and take accountability of the things that have happened in your life, your upbringing, your abusive father or your abusive mother. Most of the clients that I've worked with always end up finding out that the reason why they're in relationships that they're in is not because they actually love the person that they're with, but because they're familiar with the negativity and the abuse from past traumas. So because they lack a set of boundaries and accountability, that they do have a choice to engage in certain relationships with certain people, even family members that are full of shit, even ex-boyfriends or current boyfriends or girlfriends. But because they don't actually know self, they're kind of just going along for the ride. You know, some people don't even want to be in the jobs that they're in, but the reason why they're in there is because it pays better. But then they don't even love the job, they don't even like it, and when they get back home, they're stressed, they're yelling at their kids. You know, they're maybe taking drugs, they're doing whatever they can in order for them to live in this narrative that society, religion, you know, family members, you know, peer pressure from all these people has led them to become this person that they are truly not happy with. So self-awareness will never far exceed your income or your development and happiness. So I encourage people to start to take a look at self-awareness. It's the most fundamental thing. My life was shit pretty much all my life until I actually decided to isolate in 2020, and I started to take a look at everything. Like, I stripped down everything that I thought I was. I stripped down, you know, the friends that I was hanging out with. I went all the way to the girls that I was, you know, sort of dating at that time. And when I went to the bottom of the barrel, I realized it was just because one of my family members, one of my parents, was highly narcissistic. So everything that I touched, everything that I was around was always with familiar negativity. And that was because I didn't know how to heal and love myself. So within that, I took the time for me to then start to, you know, journal how I felt, you know, consider what I like and what I don't like. I started to trust my intuition even more. And a lot of us, we do that. You know, we've got the ability to trust our own intuition, but we silence our voice because we're trying to just basically, we're like, yeah, nah. You know, it's probably nothing. And then when the shit happens that actually happened, but you knew it was gonna happen anyway, happens, and you're like, yeah, fuck, I knew that was gonna happen. But we are more comfortable to silence our voices because we were taught that from the time that we were children. You know, you can't say an elder or somebody who's older than you is a liar, or, you know, that person, you know, smells bad. You know, and some of the stuff, yeah, you could understand, you know, it was necessary as children. My bad. So as children, you know, you could understand, like, you know, you might not have a filter, but that was your true intuition that was speaking at its best. And kids don't lie, they just tell you exactly what they feel, right? Fuck your feelings, they're just gonna tell you how it is. I also know that we say this quite often without really paying attention, and I hear, you know, parents and society say it all the time. You know, you need to teach your daughter or teach your son how to act. But if you actually listen to what they're saying, is teach them how to act, right? So if you teach them how to act on a daily basis, and I'm not saying don't groom your child to know how to be respectful, but when you teach somebody how to act from the time that they're a child, it's really unlikely that then they will actually know the difference between acting and reality when they're in a situation where they have to make choices for themselves. You understand why self-development is that important. So I encourage anybody that's looking to better themselves and further their life, man, if you took on self-awareness, and that doesn't even have to be through me. I'm just saying self-awareness and self-development is the beginning and the most fundamental thing for anybody to be able to thrive in life. It means that regardless of where you are, you will actually have an internal happiness. And it means that when you're trying to have your infestations, you know, they talk about the Secret, you know, the book called The Secret, and you know how you can attract anything that you want. It's not that simple. In order for the universe to respect anything that you want, it first wants you to do the inner work in order for you to strip yourself down from the narratives that have been spoken on your life. Not just by society, it could be generational cycles. You know, it could be what your great-great-great-grandfather told the one after that, and like you have all these narratives that are on your soul. So Source and God and the universe will never really be able to hear you calling and asking for something, because it's not going to respect that it's not your true self that's asking for it. Do you really want a Lamborghini? Or was it just to fit in? Or would you rather have actually had something else that was going to be of substance and of value and really fulfilling for your happiness internally? I feel like the universe and God don't really consider blessing you if the blessing is only to serve your own purpose. I feel like the universe works well with you when you can ask God for a blessing in order for you to be a blessing to everybody else. So stuff that I think you should just consider. It's a lot of information. It's exciting. Self-development is the most exciting thing that you could do, because it's for yourself. It's not going anywhere. It's enriching yourself and being able to process emotions and being able to just, my bad, and just being able to, you know, to be content with what's happening around you. So if you're looking for more information, I hope you subscribe to this channel. And if you're looking for a one-on-one life coach, check out my website. My website is abelkingcoach.com. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Cheers. Take care. Bye.